Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by...
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others. Join the fight.
By Tri-County Logging. Experienced in sustainable forestry practices, Tri-County Logging can help you manage your property by keeping your woods healthy and generate income. Serving southern and mid-Michigan for nearly 50 years, TriCountyLogging.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. I'm Jenny Silik and we've got a brand new show in store for you this week. We're going to check in with Jordan and Gabe and see how their deer season's wrapped up this year. We've got a couple of exciting late season deer hunts to show you. You won't want to miss that. And speaking of hunting, Jimmy's got some other excitement in store for us this week too.
Well, that's right, Jenny. We do have a few more things on this week's show. After we wrap up the deer season, we're going to show you what the elk season looked like in mid-December up in the northeast part of the Lower Peninsula. That's always a lot of fun. We're also going to have time for a bragging board on this week's show as well, so lots of good stories on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors.
What a beautiful day in the woods.
Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse, a sportsman's meat processor and Michigan destination since 1988. Offers a variety of homemade smoked meats and Michigan-made products in-store and online. The Country Smokehouse features an outdoor barbecue and bar. Details at countrysmokehouse.com. By RBM Jigs, a Michigan-based company serving ice fishing anglers around the state and throughout the country. Specializing in ice fishing gear, RBM Jigs manufactures tungsten jigs, soft plastics, and much more. Online at lakeeffectlures.com. By Polar Craft Boats, offering riveted and welded boats for the outdoor enthusiast. Whether you're targeting fish or waterfowl, Polar Craft Boats have several models to choose from that keep you high and dry. For more information, polarcraft.com. By AnglerQuest Pontoons. AnglerQuest is a Michigan-based company building boats designed for comfort and fishing functionality. For more information, anglerquestpontoons.com.
Well, it is Christmas Day. It is the late doe season here in Michigan. And Reed and I, my son, is behind the camera. And we're going to head out and hunt. And I'm going to be hunting with my 44 mag. This is a gun I worked with Ken Kelly on customizing. This was my dad's old gun. And as you can see, I've got this really nice chest rig now. This is a Berenti leather chest rig. This baby is awesome. My hands are free. I can use my binoculars, pop it off like this, pull it out. It is awesome. I love this. So I'm gonna load up right here. I'm gonna put in the shells right here, and we're gonna head back in the woods. Hopefully we can get a nice doe to step out here close.
This season has been a great one for us. We've had even more time to spend outdoors as a family, so I was excited about Reed wanting to videotape me while hunting with my handgun.
It's Christmas Day. I've never killed a Christmas Day deer before. I've killed one on Christmas Eve, but I've never killed one on Christmas Day, so this would be kind of cool if I was able to get one with the handgun. That'd be really cool. See if Reed on the camera can get this. Should be fun. Some deer coming right here. There's a big doe in the group. here. That was awesome. That worked better than I could have expected. We thought they were going to come from this way. There's a bunch of deer that came that way, but these doe came from the north, so that was perfect. That was awesome. I think I drilled her about 30 yards. That was a nice, easy shot. It's very cool. All right, well, I think we're going to go track her right now while it's still light out. Really good blood right here. There she is right there. Come on. Nice. That's awesome. Had a bunch of them come in and pick the biggest one out of the bunch and put a good shot on her. That's perfect. Perfect shot. Using the 44 mag with Hornady FTX bullets. It does a number. She might have went about 100 yards, but the blood trail was fantastic. Been really happy with those. And not bad. Christmas Day. Christmas Day deer. Put some venison in the freezer. You can't beat that.
This has been a spectacular spot for us this year. In fact, while I was out of state hunting, my wife brought the rest of the family to deer camp, and Reed was able to videotape himself shooting a 131-inch buck with my 450 rifle.
I just shot a monster. I shot him with our 450 bolt action. I saw some deer off to my left right over here, and all of a sudden my heater clicked off, and the deer heard that and they ran away, and I watched them run out right in front of me. So I got really down. I was like, come on. And then I look back up, and here comes a buck walking in right behind a doe at about 30 yards. And he turned and went to the left and went right out into the opening, and I got to shoot him right out there right in front of me. It was so cool.
They didn't have any camera lights to videotape the recovery, but it was a short 50-yard track job after Reed put a great double-lung shot on this big buck. The next day, they took some pictures in the daylight.
Is that your biggest buck?
Yes, it is.
During bow season, Reed also took his first deer with a bow, so it really had been a year to remember, even before we hit the field to try for one last doe to fill the freezer. We decided to take the 350 Legend out on this hunt.
Well, it is second to last night of the season here in Michigan. It's late doe season. And Reed is up to bat. He's using that GLFA 350 Legend AR-15 stainless steel barrel. It's a beautiful gun. It's been a good gun for us, so we're seeing if it can work its magic again tonight. It's like almost 40 degrees here in Michigan, so don't even have gloves on. A nice late season hunt, even though it's not that cold.
The sun was down on the horizon when the deer started filtering out. This was the only picked cornfield around that hadn't been plowed under. On a typical night, there was about 10 to 15 does on it feeding. We've practiced with the 350 out to 250 yards, so when this doe stepped through the fence row at 200 yards, Reed was ready. Through the camera, I could see she wasn't hit, until I reviewed the footage and realized that the bullet never got to her because he had hit a limb about a foot in front of the barrel. But the deer didn't realize where the shot came from and spent a little too much time on the field trying to figure it out. We got ready for a follow-up shot.
Hit her that time. So she was right over there, and I shot and I missed, and I don't know why they just didn't really, they were spooked, but they didn't just run off. She ran right up here, stopped a few times, did not know what happened, and I shot her, and I actually hit her that time.
With one last doe, the freezer is now full of venison. But better than that, we've got another season of memories with the family here in Michigan's outdoors.
December 26th. Hard to believe that the deer season is just about over here in Michigan. Out tonight trying to fill one last doe tag. Technically I have a buck tag left if something came out, but one of my favorite things this time of year to do is to still hunt, and I do it a lot. Oh. Might have just saw a deer. Yep. Out here tonight, I plan on sitting a little more and doing a little less walking and just seeing if I can get lucky and have a deer come within bow range. So we're on the ground, bow in hand, kind of set up here. Might do a little moving throughout the night, but probably stay in this area, kind of right on a transition between a good bedding area and a cut cornfield. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get a shot.
This particular area has a lot of deer, and it didn't take long for a few does and fawns to make their way to the field. Unfortunately, I had initially set up facing the other way, hoping to get a shot before they made it there. By the time I was able to get myself and the camera turned around, it was too late. To add insult to injury, the deer made their way all the way back to about 50 yards only to bust me again. Hunting from the ground is always difficult, but when you're doing it in the late season, with a bow, and trying to get it on camera, it can seem about impossible. But a couple of days later, I was back at it. The only difference was, this time I had both the bow and the muzzleloader.
Got a few deer already out feeding. It's only about 2 o'clock. While I'm trying to work my way in, there's a couple of deer actually laying down in the cornfield. I just had a little buck walk by at about 75 yards. I'm trying to get to the top of this little hill so I can see that corner of the field. That's where I saw him the other night. It's been a fun late season here in southern Michigan. I've done a decent amount of hunting, almost all still hunting. I was trying really hard to film myself shoot one with a bow on the ground while still hunting. Had lots of opportunities to let an arrow fly, but trying to do it with a camera on a tripod has proven to be harder than I thought it would be. So it's probably my last hunt of the year. Obviously 2020 has been kind of a wild year, but it's been a great deer season, and thankful for one more night in the timber. Had a doe at about 30 yards. I thought I was going to get a shot with a bow, and then her fawn ended up spoken. It's just so tough this time of year being on the ground, not in the blind. Thought it was going to happen, and by the time I realized it wasn't, I really couldn't get the camera swung around and get the gun up and everything, so heading into prime time, kind of the last hour of light here on what is likely my last hunt of the season, so.
After about a half hour, a few more deer made their way to the field. As I was getting ready to grab the muzzleloader, one of the adult does turned and started walking right towards me. So I quickly set down the gun, grabbed my bow, and hoped for the best.
I think I just got it done with a bow. Unbelievable. This doe stepped out down here in the corner of the field, and I was gonna shoot her down there with a muzzleloader. And all of a sudden she turned and she started coming right at me. I had to turn the camera around and get situated to shoot in the woods, which I was not expecting. And she was walking through there, man, beautiful, right in the sunset. I got the camera turned and just left it sit in one spot, and I waited for her to get in what I got to double check, I think was that opening. She was close. The only thing is she was quartering a little bit to me. But she had seen me at that point when she stepped into the opening, and it was kind of a now or never moment. Well, here she is behind me. Absolutely gorgeous spot here, kind of up on top of this bluff. She didn't make it far. Quick, clean kill. I thought it was important to me. She maybe made it 70 yards, so it was a pretty close shot. So I was confident, even though she was quartering to just a smidge, that I could get the arrow in there, and it all worked out. So happy about that. Great way to end the 2020 deer season. Like I said earlier, it's been a weird year, but it has been a good deer season, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to hunt again here in Michigan and another successful bull hunt. So it was a great year, and here's to next year.
Well, as you can see, Gabe and Jordan, they do a lot of deer hunting in mid-December, and while they were doing that, I was chasing elk. Well, at least I was with people that were chasing elk for the late season that happens every year in the northeast part of the Lower Peninsula. The late season for elk started in mid-December, and I was at the house of Keith Huff, a longtime guide and resident of this part of the state. Keith and his family usually host a handful of hunters, and I was lucky enough to be tagging along with the Turbush family, who had 3 generations in camp this elk season. We would all meet at first light each day at Keith's house and head out in search of tracks or hoping to see some elk moving. Today was rough, though, as visibility was poor due to the 10 inches or more of snow that we got throughout the day. We would cut tracks, follow them, post up in some areas where we knew there was elk, and do a lot of driving, covering large tracts of public ground. The only elk we actually put our eyes on this opening day was a small spike at last light, but seeing lots of fresh tracks and at least getting to see this elk did give us some hope for the next day's hunt. Back in town on the elk opener, there was the traditional elk pole in downtown Atlanta. This is usually a fun spot to be on the opener, and throughout the season, elk will come and go, but today's conditions made it hard on the hunters. Day 2 found us back at it again, and nearby, Keith's son Troy Huff was able to get his lucky hunter an elk of a lifetime, and we were nearby to come and hear the story firsthand.
My guide, Troy Huff, put me on this bull. We cut his tracks down here on the road, him and his son and my 2 daughters, Carly and Hunter. We put a stalk on him, probably walked about maybe 200-300 yards to get to him. We found him on the side of the hill laying down and couldn't get on him, so I moved. He had me move, and finally I says, I'm on him, Troy, and he says, take him, and he's up, and I took him, and I dropped him right there.
How far was the shot, did you say?
I'd say maybe 100 yards.
Oh, okay.
125 maybe.
Nice. And what'd you shoot him with?
My 30-06.
Nice. And tell me about getting the tag. How did you find out that you got one?
Well, my funny story, I came home from work and my daughter Hunter was there, and a manila envelope said Gaylord Department of Natural Resources. I said, oh, another survey I gotta take. And I opened it up. I pulled the pamphlet. All I saw was elk, and I screamed. I was screaming. My daughter comes out, Dad, what's wrong? What's wrong? I drew an elk tag. She's like, Dad, you didn't even read it. I said, I don't care. I drew an elk tag. I know I did. And she's reading it. She's like, Dad, you drew a Michigan elk tag. And I just started screaming through the whole house again. Called everybody and my brother that I know.
So would you finally, did you know how big this one was when you shot at him? Or?
I didn't. I told Troy, I says, I'm after a certain size bull, and he knew what my wheelhouse was. And I says, if you see him and you think he's good, tell me, because I'm not, I've hunted out in Colorado and Idaho, and I saw small bulls. And he says, Dave, it's a good one. I got on him, I checked him in my scope, and I brought it right down right there. I knew he was it. He was a good shooter.
Boy, he's heavy.
He's a big bull.
Well, congratulations on a bull of a lifetime.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Dave had been putting in for years, and what a thrill to get such a great bull and have family along for the experience. Each season is a little bit different, but with COVID concerns, the elk didn't have to be taken to the Atlanta field office to get checked in. This hunt, a biologist or a conservation officer would come to you after you called in your kill. They ask a handful of questions and tag the animal, then you're able to start the drag, which in this case, we were glad we had 15 or so folks around. Moving an elk is no small task. I could only stay for the first 2 days of Rob's hunt, But on day 4, well, Rob was rewarded for his efforts. After passing a couple small bulls, Rob was able to get a very nice big bull as well, and they were nice enough to share a bit of the memory with all of us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 by 7. It was that wood stove cabin you let us stay in last night. Gave me a little wood smoke flavor.
Back chef for dinner, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Thanks for the huffs, locating this guy, getting us out here this morning. Ganley's, Jason and Gary, for the cabin. Mikey set up the cabin and the truck. Mikey's going to get blood in the back of his truck today. Nathaniel's going to load it by himself. He's been doing push-ups and sit-ups, as you can see.
Good foot on that thing.
Well, congrats to Rob, Dave, and the many other successful hunters. The elk hunt is special because of where it takes place. It's also special because it's like winning the lottery to get a tag. Another reason it's special is because for many hunters, they bring a crew along with them. And to have this moment with family and some new friends as well, it's one of the most special things we have here in Michigan's Out of Doors.
Thanks for joining us this week for Michigan Out of Doors. Make sure you stay tuned in upcoming weeks. We've got lots of wintertime excitement headed your way. We'll get you out on one of our first ice fishing adventures of the year. We'll do some rabbit hunting and all sorts of other fun. If you'd like to see where we are and where we're headed next, you can always check us out online.
Well, that's right, Jenny. Online, always a great way to kind of keep tabs on us. You can do that through our website. We have full episodes of the show there every week. We're also on most of the social media sites if you want to see what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. And if you're ever on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel there. Get an email every time we post something new. We're looking forward to a lot of brand new stuff over the next several weeks. And if we don't see it in the woods or on the water, hopefully we see it right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by.
Do you dream of somewhere bigger than your backyard? You can get there with Greenstone. Whether you want to hunt, fish, hike, or just watch the sunset, we're ready to help you own your place in the great outdoors. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com.
By Showspan, producing sports shows such as the Ultimate Fishing Show Detroit at the Suburban Collection Showplace with new dates for 2021, now being held March 25th through 28th. The Ultimate Fishing Show is now in March.
Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, East to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love